So I was talking about 30 Seconds to Mars. I love this entire record. This is part two video, part two. Um, this is really interesting approach. I was going to Best Buy. This was back when I was in LA. I was going to Best Buy, and the fact that Jared Leto was an actor, I don't know. It really threw me off as to whether to believe that um, he was a good musician or that 30 Seconds to Mars was a good band. I thought it was just like, hyped up, and it was more like like a boy band type thing. And yeah, it sounds very like pretentious when I talk about this stuff. But I have this like mentality that you want your rock band to be unknown, and but it was surprisingly good. I liked the first 30 Seconds to Mars record, the one that has Capricorn on it, a new name. Mm, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it because it didn't convince me, because Jared Leto was an actor, and I don't know. The fact that Jared Leto is a an important actor really threw me off. But then when I got here to Bogota and I spent some time creating music, this started popping up on the radio, and I downloaded their first record, and I was really, really blown away by it. The first record is really good, really good. The second one was on my MP3 player, and I was taking the bus to work and to university, and I would listen to this music. There was one night that I went drinking with some friends, and I got really drunk, and I started listening to what was the track? Because we were looking for drummers, and we found, we were just talking to friends sitting there, and I was like, listen to this, and it was the first, no, it was the second 30 Seconds to Mars, and not too many people paid attention to it. I was really blown away by it. I really like 30 Seconds to Mars. It's really, especially this record, the quality, the tones, it's very well presented. And the songwriting is very good too. I think I'm surprised. It's very very envious that someone like Jared Leto is, the type of musician that he is. But it's plausible, and it's there. He's very, very good actor, and his movies, Requiem for a Dream, Chapter 20, was it chapter? No, that's a different. I think Chapter 27, the one with John Lennon, the murdering of John Lennon. My So-Called Life. If you have never seen My So-Called Life, I recommend that you see My So-Called Life. I think My So-Called Life was I talk about life-changing experience because MTV was really life-changing. All this media was very. All this media was very hard to come by, and when My So-Called Life was on the television, it was really cool. There was a couple years after My So-Called Life was on, and the show was they stopped making the show. They made on MTV. I don't know if you guys, anybody who saw this, there was marathons of My So-Called Life, and I got to see the entire My So-Called Life series, which really is really inspiring, because I was 12, 13 years old, and you're going into high school, and you're becoming a adolescent in times of all this going on in the world. And so I'm gonna put these in order. I got really into music, and I got really into guitar playing. My teacher was English, or is English, and this is another great record. This is my favorite jazz record of all time. This is very cliche, but this is my favorite jazz record of all time. I think this thing is it's like a precious stone, something very rare in my CD collection. Kind of blue. This thing is texturally, it's there's nothing like this. This is very, very incredible music, very well played, and very well presented. I think this is very beautiful. The quality of these recordings are superior to a lot of other things. Maybe it was the mastering that they did on this, but I haven't heard any original kind of blue records. But this is definitely, if you're a record collector, or if you want to know about sound, or you think that recording is important in your life, and you want to hear really, really, really top of the line music, this is very beautiful. Miles Davis kind of blue. This is one of, I've already talked about this, but this is a life-changing experience, another life-changing record. Incredible music. I've talked about this, but this is my stepdad's copy. I think he took mine and I took his because this was in color. I think these are the first pressings of Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I guess he took some of my CDs and I took a couple of his. Like Anthony Kiedis. This is in color. If you get this again, or there's the version that I got when I was like 95, 96, it's in black and white photography, but this is in color. Flea. I got the colored, his Chad and John. This was before he had to quit the band. This was a great, the documentary is on YouTube. I highly recommend you look at Funky Monk's documentary. I had it, I think I still have it somewhere on tape. Somewhere my brother in LA has a lot of my things, or he doesn't. No, yeah, maybe he has my stuff, but I don't know. If he does, and you want to learn about music, this is a beautiful documentary. Within this documentary, John is talking about something. He's talking about something to the interviewers, while Rick Rubin, Chad, and Flea are listening to something. Oh, they're listening to Dazed and Confused. I'm going to show those right now. And Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is something everybody who loves music, or is a record collector, or is somehow affected by sound and music, you have to get The Wall. This is a masterpiece, an incredible experience. I want to say something, like I want to use a different term other than life-changing. It's very life-altering, minus the the psychedelic part, and the sound and the quality of textures, space, time, the way it's presented. It's beautiful. So these are highly recommended records. This is a special stash I had somewhere. Excuse me. So back to the thing about, if you are a guitar player and would like to get better at guitar, and have to definitely know about structure, chords, harmony, these are, let me put these in order. Led Zeppelin is one of my favorite bands, and it's a complete experience. When these were offered in a box set back in 97, 98, there was a complete recordings box set where it had absolutely every single Led Zeppelin record, and I think every single recording. But these are all my Zeppelin records. These are pressings. These are original remasters from the 90s. So these are my treasure right here. One of my treasures here. Led Zeppelin 1. A definite So how did I listen to this? What was the first thing I listened to? Was Led Zeppelin 3. I heard Immigrant Song, Friends, Gallows Pole, and Tangerine, and that's when I knew that there was something special, very special about the content of this material. This music is it's I can't talk enough about this music. It's there's something about the melody and the chords, the way it's mixed, the time of it, the 60s, late 60s, throughout the 70s. John Bonham, obviously, one of the greatest drummers of all time. Jimmy Page, an incredible guitar player. John Paul Jones, the quality of his bass, these recordings, the way the band is presented. It's magic. The thing about dragons, and I think Dave Grohl made a joke about this recently, and I couldn't stop laughing. The thing about Dungeons and Dragons, the J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, Immigrant Song, that whole Dungeons and Dragons thing. It's the mountains, the fields, rain, uh, tall grass, trees, magic moments. This will definitely transport you somewhere. So yeah, these are all my Zeppelin records. I don't have everything. I once purchased a booklet. It's called The Unofficial Bibliography of Led Zeppelin, all of their recordings. It's very thin. They used to sell it within all these records. There was I also bought this really incredible. I think it's probably still there. An incredible Led Zeppelin cover songs. It was made like in a bar somewhere in Santa Monica, West LA, and within all these bootlegs there was this book, and inside this book had all the words. I'm sorry, the explanation about every single Led Zeppelin song. So it was all the Led Zeppelin records in order with all the songs, and I purchased this, and it was completely incredible. So I would get one record. I think I got, which one did I get? I think I got Zeppelin 2 first, because I was learning licks off of it, and as I listened to the music, I was listening to the book. I was reading the book, and the book talks a lot about production and what the songs are about, very lightly. And I got really, really heavily into this band. Led Zeppelin was. So I'm not talking about in order. Was Led Zeppelin 1, Good Time, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. If you've never heard Led Zeppelin, and if you want to get into this, listen to that song and it will completely transform you. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is incredibly. You Shook Me, I think it's a Willie Dixon song, but they cover it and they like completely transform the structure of it. Dazed and Confused, that's the song that's in the inside this documentary. They're listening to Zeppelin records and just like, I think Rick Rubin and they're just like tripping out on listening to productions, and I'm guessing they're warming up to make their own record. Your Time at Black Mountainside, obviously the guitar gymnastics thing, the guitar virtuosity, communication breakdown. I Can't Quit You, Babe. I think it's Jimmy Reed song. I Can't Quit You. No, Jimmy Reed, not Jimmy Reed. Jimmy Reed's not. I can't remember. I don't remember How Many More Times, a Howlin' Wolf cover. This How Many More Times it's an incredible song. Led Zeppelin 2 is Whole Lotta Love. What Is and What Should Never Be. The Lemon Song, Thank You, Heartbreaker, Living Loving Maid. I learned that song on guitar. My guitar teacher taught me that song, and it was incredible. The way the chords look and the strumming on that is, it's like very evident of why this music is so good. Ramble On, obviously, Moby Dick, Bring It On Home. That that riff is just so. Robert's voice comes in is So I talked about this, Immigrant Song, Friends, Tangerine, and Gallows Pole. Gallows Pole is wow, it's one of my favorite. Bron Stomp. Out on the Tiles, he taught me that riff too, my guitar teacher. Walk down the highway. It's very, there's a lot of Elvis influenced music that goes on here. So if you're trying to wonder how to, there's a lot of rockabilly stuff. There's what's Elvis's guitar player, something more. He's really in there in those tracks. You can hear Jimmy trying to emulate Elvis, and it's Robert Plant really trying to vibe off of Elvis records. Black Dog, Rock and Roll, the Bell, obviously Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain Hop. Four Sticks is when I bought this record and I was looking for it's Four Sticks and When the Levee Breaks. Four Sticks that it's really these are like very like gems within these records. Like you would look for the stuff that was hidden in these records, and it's really it's an incredible experience. Misty Mountain Hop is really cool. It's like the track that you think that you least like, but you start listening to the chorus and the guitar sections, and it's just as good as anything else. The Ocean on Houses of the Holy. No Quarter, Tool covered No Quarter. This is incredible. These CDs are so old. I've had them for a long time, but yeah, they've cracked. Even here it's cracked, but the CD is intact. I take very, very good care of my music. Look at this. It looks brand new because I'm the only one who touches these CDs. It's a beautiful record, and it was my guitar learning phase was completely worshiping Jimmy Page and worshiping Led Zeppelin, and I would get every Guitar World magazine that I could, and that had Jimmy Page interviews, and I really got into this, and I really researched, and Jimmy Page was a monster in the guitar world, in the guitar thing. His guitars, the sound of his records, because he would produce this music, and the sound of his guitar, the sound of the drums, Robert's voice. The Ocean, Dire Maker. I think I'm saying it Jamaica. I'm saying it wrong because there's a specific. Robert mentions it in an interview. That's not. I think it's Jamaica. I'm not sure what it is. No Quarter. The Crunch is a homage to what's his name? James Brown, funk music. The Crunch is really interesting. Dancing Days, Stone Temple Pilot covers Dancing Days. Over the Hills and Far Away. When I learned that riff, my guitar teacher was playing it one day, and I was like, "Oh, I know what that is. What is that? What is that? What is that?" He's like, "Over the Hills and Far." Oh, yeah, show me how to play that. So he showed me how to play the riff. Some sections of it. It's a very long and complicated thing. I gotta sit down and relearn all this stuff. I found a website back in 96. No, not 96, 96. There was a website. It was a mirror site. It had all Led Zeppelin tabs, and it seemed, I don't know what kind of it seemed that it was completely official, like somebody was giving them, maybe it was even Jimmy Page putting this stuff up, but it was note for note, it was there. Note for note, it was there. It was all. So I learned Rain Song. I don't know if you guys remember the Rain Song. If you guys ever heard Rain Song. So I printed out all these papers. It was like 7 pages of tablature, and it was a special tuning on the guitar. You had to tune the guitar. It had a special tuning, and one of my friends. Uh, One night he told me, come over to the house. You can spend the night. And then I took my guitar, and he was a huge. His dad is a huge Zeppelin fan. He had the remasters collection, the 4 disc remasters collection, which had like 4 songs that I didn't own, because I only had like 3 or 4 Zeppelin records at that time. Not even, I had like 2 Zeppelin records. And I took all these printed pages, and I was playing the Rain song. I think I was like 14, 16. I was like, how old was I? Jesus. I was like 15. No, I wasn't even 15 yet. 14. I was 14 years old, and I was playing the Rain song note for note, because I knew how to read tablature, and I had found this mirror site. It was like by accident. I was really into looking at this stuff. The same thing with Jeff Buckley. I found out that Jeff Buckley went to Musicians Institute. That was just me researching stuff on the internet. I wasn't going into anything illegal or anything. It was just me. My thing was very much into researching all this music, and I had to know about Jimmy Page. I know about Jimmy Page's career in music. Obviously, everybody knows now that after that music, what's it called? It Might Get Loud with Jack White and The Edge. All this music, all this stuff, that information about Jimmy Page, it's in all that Hammer of the Gods book, and I knew all this stuff, and everybody started getting into this, and then after that movie, everybody knew this stuff about Jimmy Page. But I knew this stuff when I was like 13, 14 years old. So I was playing the Rain song when I was 14 years old in my friend's house, and they are huge Zeppelin fans, and that's how we started. That's how we started the band. That's how we started getting into music and got into the Chili Peppers, and started getting into Incubus, and what's the other band? 311. It was because of Zeppelin. I was willing to hang out with anyone who had Zeppelin. We were one day in school. He's like, "Yeah, no, I have Zeppelin records." And I was like, "Whoa, you have Zeppelin? Which ones do you have?" I think I only had 2 or 3. He's like, "I have a big one, my dad." So then we went to his house, and he had the remasters. If anybody knows that era of Led Zeppelin, I think it's 1991, before Nevermind, I think. It's got 4 Zeppelin records, and it's got like 4 or 5 of each of. It's like a little collection of Zeppelin records, but it had Poor Tom. I don't know if you guys have. I've never purchased Coda, but it had. Oh, I did. I think I did purchase Coda. I just don't have it with me. Or I never purchased it. I borrowed it or something. Anyways, that within that collection was Poor Tom, and there's another one. Da 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 dun 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 dun. Say I got a little dun dun dun. It's a Robert Plant. I think it's time. No, it's not Kept a Rollin'. Well, it's a very beautiful song that Robert Plant sings. It's in the Coda record. Well, he had Poor Tom and that other Robert Plant song within that. Dun 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 dun. I've got a dun on the bone all day. Dun dun dun. Said I got a little woman that won't be true. That song. Anybody who knows about Zeppelin records or Coda, it was that song and Poor Tom, and I loved to go to his house just to listen to those 2 songs because I didn't have the. I couldn't find Coda. They were remastering this stuff at the time, and it was very difficult to get. And this is physical graffiti. I would listen to this with my stepdad in the car. There was KLOS had these special nights with there was a really great DJ who would play the entire record. And I forgot the name of the program, but it was like late night, like 9-10 o'clock, or actually maybe even earlier. Sometimes we would go. I would help him go get groceries, and we'd turn on the radio, and it was the entire record from beginning to end. So I love the custard pie. The custard pie. I love custard pie. The Rover is an incredible song. Obviously, In My Time of Dying, and Kashmir. You know, if you haven't heard Kashmir, then I don't know what planet you've been. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound derogatory, but this is really, really beautiful, powerful music. It's really great. Um, it sounds very elitist sometimes when I talk about this and when I talk about the Beatles, but it's not. It's not. It's great. It's like if you into comic books, you know, you've never heard of Superman or you've never heard of Batman. It's great. It's great. I guess I'm talking about stuff that I think is great. Bronny Orr, the beautiful instrumental thing that's like 2 minutes long here. It's whoa. Down by the Seaside, the tempo change on that song. So far away, so far away. It's 10 Years Gone is a a beautiful song. The Wonton song. It's it's very drum and bass oriented, and it's really Black Country Woman, Boogie with Stu. I love this record is a masterpiece. It's great, and this was something that so I purchased all this stuff on my own. I had researched it. None of this was on K Rock or anything that anybody that loved music. Oh, I know, I love Zeppelin. It was weird that you would love Zeppelin because I was 14, 15 years old, and this is music that my parents would listen to. Yeah, it's like Pink Floyd and the Beatles. It's stuff that not even my parents, like my grandparents, would listen to. Would have been listening to, but since my family, they listen to salsa music, and a lot of my parents listened to 80s and 90s rock, and I got really into Zeppelin because of the guitar, because I was learning about brands, and I was learning about chords, and this is a very special thing. I'm so fortunate to have been a part of this. In the 90s, I would get these are all remasters, even though it's not on the record. It is here, remastered by digitally remastered from the original master tapes by Jimmy Page and George Marino at Sterling Sound. This is New York. Achilles' Last Stand is it sounds a lot like Mars Volta, like what they do now. But yeah, no, I can't go on. I can't talk enough about The Cure, Led Zeppelin, and the Beatles. It's just those three bands are on my top 5 list. Candy Store Rock, For Your Life was one of the first songs that I learned off of I would learn to play just by listening to the guitar, and it was For Your Life. I was pulling chords out, and I was like, whoa, look, I found the chord, or I found the lead. It was when I started getting really good at guitar, and it was For Your Life. I would sit in my room for hours, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, just playing these records and playing this music. Candy Store Rock is one of the Elvis things, like one of the Elvis, what is it called, tributes they kind of do. It's Jimmy Page being more rockabilly, and T for No One, that blues song is really heavy rock. Well, that's the video. I pulled these out of my a special collection that I have, and I had to share. It's very important that, as I'm working on I'm gonna work on some lyrics and some music. It's very important that it's very important that you understand about the things that you like. So if you like a certain kind of music, or you like a certain genre of music, or you're really into a certain band, it's very important that you research all this stuff. Don't just create stuff because you think, how do I explain this? Like it's really good to research what you like. Like I got that Zeppelin book, that Hammer of the Gods, and within that book there's a lot of blues based music. Talk about Elvis Presley, and all of Scotty Moore was Elvis's guitar player. And so if you want to get that Jimmy Page sound, you want to be good and you want to learn about all this stuff, you have to know who all these old uh, old blues musicians are. Otis Redding, Howlin' Wolf, excuse me. Um, you have to know about um, Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck, even though they went separate to on different musical adventures, like different kinds of music. Eric Clapton would stick to, he was like the most blues oriented, but there's a lot of blues in Jimmy Page's guitar playing. So if you listen to I Can't Quit You Babe and How Many More Times, it's very blues based. And your ear starts to get accustomed to the 1-4-5. You start to hear the 1, the 4, the 1, the 4, the 1, the 4, the 5, the 1. You start to identify these things. And Eric Clapton is definitely more blues. Like his records ended up being more blues based. Jeff Beck's was more fusion. I really like Wired. I think it's a really interesting record. Anyways, that's a really good record. Um, what else could I what else can I say about so yeah, so I was saying, know who your heroes listen to or used to listen to, because it will help you and it will guide your um, judgment. Yeah, like what did Michael Jackson used to listen to? Quincy Jones. I'm assuming all that soul music from the 40s and 50s. Um, what did Jimmy Page used to listen to? Blues. These are the blues artists. Hammer of the Gods. That book has all that information, and I would listen. I would listen to these records religiously, and I would read that book religiously, almost like it was not the Bible, but it was something that was gonna guide my understanding of all this. What is so great about this music? And yeah, it's all there. It's all there in their biography. Um, they did a lot of touring, and they did a lot of covers, blues covers, and on the road, learning and all the, living life, and on the road you start experiencing these things, and they would lay it down on record. Look at this thing. It's falling apart. Even though I take really really good care of my records, these are the ones that I've been, because I've had them for so long. But you look at the disc, and it's ridiculously Apollo, son of, the son of the sun god. A really great. This is a famous artist. What's his name? I saw him on Proco just recently. One of those. I forgot your name. I can forget. Look at these discs; they're brand new. And I would listen. I'd pull them out, and I'd be very careful. But look at them; they're completely no scratches on absolutely none of them. Now you look at You know, you go to your friend's house and then they pull out their music and you look at their CDs and they're all scratched up, because you think that you can keep buying these because you're like, who cares? I'll just get a new copy. You got to change that mentality, because look at this thing. It's like a glass. I take care of all my CDs. I would be hesitant because this was a double CD, so I would be, now that it's easier, but look at this. Not one single scratch on any of them. No, these are completely, they're brand new, basically. But I listened to the hell out of this music. This was my besides my, there's a little, look at them, no scratches, beautifully kept. So it's a collection, and you got to take care of these things. The jewel cases, I can probably get new jewel, but not like this. These are special jewel cases. They don't make them like this anymore. So yeah, this is my special record collection. My Zeppelin 2. Atlantic Records. I always love the way. I think this is the one that has no scratches, but it has those dots. You can barely see those dots. There's like one or two. The dots where it looks like some lint got on it, and it's like, I don't want to touch it, but no scratches. These are my favorite. Like I said, Beatles, Zeppelin, and The Cure. Because there's something about the production of these. Same thing with this one. There's one or two, like one of those dots that looks like, but there's no scratches on these. Something about the production, the power, the impact that they had the first time I heard them. Like I heard them the first time and whoa, what is this? Like I have to get really into this, and I'm a collector. I love to collect things, even though it's not, these things won't be worth anything, but they are worth something to me. This console, I'm laying on this console and I'm making these videos right now. This console is not worth anything to most people, but it's worth a lot of money. It's a lot of effort went into getting this board, and I love it because of the electronics, because of what's inside it. It's vintage. It's going to be vintage in like the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be considered vintage. But I looked in the hood. I looked at the electronics, and it's very clean, and it's they took care of it. They took care of it. The people who sold it to me, they took very good care of it. So now I'm taking care of it. I fixed the power supply. This is one of that. It's just that it hits you. It's one of those records that you have to. I'm gonna go to a record store soon, and I recently bought. I think the last record I bought was With Teeth, 9 Inch Nails. I bought that recently, brand new, because I had downloaded the MP3s, but I wanted the actual record. There's nothing like physical media, and there's nothing like the originals. If you are a collector, if you can't find certain things, like maybe this Mother Love Bone, this was difficult. You can probably get it on YouTube. Download it from YouTube library and make a CD. It's not easy. You have to convert the audio back into wave. You can do that. If it's an MP3, it's possible. You have to get a special converter, convert it back into wave, and you're gonna see what you're gonna see how great it sounds. I mean, it's not the original pressing of the record, but it's good enough to have while you find an original copy. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. That's the content. Take care of your stuff. Take care of your equipment. I used to be very thankful that I had CDs. I had a tower of CDs, but I had to end up giving it to one of my roommates because I couldn't pay him for rent. So I don't regret it. It was worth it. It was completely worth it. I was going to school in MI, and I had to give him all my Pearl Jam, my Nirvana CDs. Actually, no, he didn't take those. He took most of my collection, but it wasn't that stuff. Um, I'm rebuilding my library. Well, I have been since I got back to Bogota, and it's got these things like this thing is beautiful record, Miles Davis. This is the remastered, the Jazz Masterpiece, the best, these best value, this old stickers, best value, Best Buy. I wanted to show you my Rift teeth, but I'll do that in a different video. And it's got Miles Davis, all this old photography of the sessions. Miles Davis, this is great. I love the sound of this. The textures on this record are unique. Okay, so that's the video. I hope you guys like the video. Please like and subscribe. I understand that life is changing and that people are, some of us don't even have the internet. Some people are completely oblivious to what the internet and computers are. If you are a musician and are looking into becoming a professional, these are the things you have to obtain. You need a computer, you need physical media. Obviously you have to compare an MP3 file to a WAV file to an AIFF file to a FLAC file. You have to understand the difference between the sound of one, if it's superior or not. It's irrelevant, but you do have to attune your ears to what a good record sounds or it doesn't, right? The difference, or you can compare, but you do have to know what these files are. The kind of these files will, some files are playable by your stereo, but I think the safest bet is your dot wave file, dot WAV. Those are still 16 bit. Make sure it's 16 bit, 44 hertz, 44.1 kilohertz. Is it 44.1 kilohertz? I think it is kilohertz. I know it's 16 bit, but I haven't done any conversions lately. But anyways, all of this stuff is relevant, and if you do not like technology and you're completely maybe obsessed with the analog thing, you still should have access to a CD player. It's just really good practices. Have a CD player, maybe have a mini CD collection. CDs are a lot cheaper now. I saw cassettes are back in style and back in it's tape. It's tape in your stereo. That's incredible. I'm happy about that. Take care of your things. Don't just misplace things because they're things. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it is important. And I talked about this in the video. Having beautiful things in your house, and things that mean things to you are, I just bought this Batman action figure. It's not worth anything. It's just like, something that means the world to like a 6-7-year-old kid, but I like it because it helps me study the figure and make drawings, and it's something that not everybody has. You go to somebody's house and that they have a Batman figure. That's kind of cool. I wanted to share more records. I will share more records in a different video. So yeah, look up conversion files. If you want to create, you can create like a little collection of things that you really like. Stone Temple Pilots Core, I downloaded it from I couldn't find it on CD, so I downloaded it from YouTube. YouTube is a great library, and you can have the file on your computer, but you want to be able to burn a CD. Just have a physical copy of it. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to make CDs, how to burn CDs. There's a lot of stuff on, but what you can do is look for MP3 conversion, MP3 into MP3 to a .wav file, and you will. I have maybe like 50 of these. You know, it's not the the greatest thing in the world, but it is to me because it's my special collection. If I want to watch Ren and Stimpy, I have a copy of Ren and Stimpy on a DVD. It's not something everybody else has. So, because I downloaded it from YouTube and I downloaded it from the internet. Um, Having these little collections is um, like your library, the things that you like and the things that inspire you. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Um, Hopefully, this is the second part of the videos. Um, okay, I hope you enjoyed looking at my record collection, and I will keep making more videos. See you guys soon.